Nettie?
What do you want me to tell you?
You're
Well, I
being,
like saying something.
I want you to kind of tell me your parents, and I know, of course, Sam and Yenta, but they were cousins.
Yeah,
First cousins.
both born the same year,
I wouldn't
1888.
admit to that
They have the
because
same birthday.
couldn't-
presumably a couple of genes can be in conflict and produce what we have become.
Not what
kind
you
of,
become, but what now? Bobby or Sienta, her parents were Zeta Favel,
Zeta Favel
And
and
who-
Bobby Pessy. That's
Pessy.
her name, Pessy. Pessy.
I'm going to start with them and then work backwards. Okay, Pessy. They had They had 3 daughters.
And his son.
What happened to the son?
He was killed in the war. Wasn't he?
Is that confirmed? Is that a confirmed kill?
No.
No.
No?
Uh,
I told you.
well,
ask
maybe
him.
yes. He was drafted in World War One, and he left. And they didn't hear. The parents, the family just didn't hear. At that time, Russia would they would send the recruits into the fire with very minimum training, and they didn't hear for it. And my grandparents inquired, whatnot. They didn't know what happened. Finally, it may have been as long as after the war,
How are
a
you feel?
neighbor
Fine. Okay.
had served with this
What was his name?
Moshe.
Moshe.
Moshe
Okay.
Gorsky. Piatigorsky.
Served together. He said, "Do you remember him?" He said, "Oh, yes, I remember." He was in Moshe's outfit. They had very minimal training, and they sent him out to the front lines. And the very first day was a massacre. He was killed, as most of them were killed. I was one of the very few survivors. And so the assumption was, now there was no body returned ever. They were blown to smithereens. And so not to know what happened precisely, or to give him burial, or to know where he's buried. They never did. And that was Moshe.
Moshe had, and the sisters, there was Yenta, and there was Chaedel, and there was Fradel.
Fradel, yes.
Okay.
No, and there were 2 more.
Oh, yeah, they died when they were very young.
Yes. I think the name was, one was Rivka, and one may have been Leah.
It's hard to tell. Did they have children, or they were?
No, they were young.
They were young.
They were
They
young.
were
Girls when
under
they died.
10, I think.
Okay, so who are Chaedel's children? She married Muttal, who was married.
No. Chaedel was married to Nucham.
That's what I said. Nucham, and Nucham was married before.
No,
No.
he's confusing it
You're
with Mother.
thinking
Markham.
with
You're confusing it with Markham.
Allentown.
You're confusing it with the motto.
Of course I am. Okay, so Nucham and Chaedel.
Produced,
Nucham, this will have to be edited. Nucham and Chaedel had how many issues? How many children?
Issues.
Tell me who they are.
Seeley.
Seeley, who
Meyer.
married Joe Litvin, and they have
Joe
kids.
Litvin.
Okay,
And Meyer Levin had married Sylvia.
right.
And Philip
Wait a minute, who's Seeley and Joe had Jerry,
Jerry.
Morty,
Morty.
and Arlene?
Elaine.
Elaine.
Who was here?
Oh,
Elaine was
Elaine.
here.
Sure, Elaine's my age.
That's right. Elaine is your age. She's
Elaine used to have,
Blonde hair.
no, Elaine,
you, or
when
yeah.
she was a baby,
Yeah.
she had, not too close,
I'm not the...
she had a Cheerio or a cornflake for breakfast. She was
must have
so
been related to me.
skinny, and so Celia would run to the doctor and say, "What should I do? What should I do?" She doesn't eat anything. He said, "Leave her be."
Elaine. That's Elaine.
No, don't bother. So when she came here, Elaine,
She was fat.
She's
yeah.
big.
Incidentally,
fat.
director, or you the producer?
I'm
Is
both.
her daughter
Since
still here?
this was mentioned, it's an
her
interesting
daughter
story.
got married here.
Yeah,
Are
but
we
she doesn't
digressing
live
here?
Oh, she
No, well,
was.
it's on
You
the
see?
family.
No, we were at the wedding.
Yeah, I know.
A young
Yeah,
girl, she said,
we were
"My
at the
name is
wedding.
Audrey
I
Sklar."
think we were the
And I'm
only
the daughter of
Americans outside
Elaine.
of the family.
Elaine. And she's here in
Who
Israel.
was,
Where did you
She
get
had two
the
weddings.
address?
She was
of
married
Not
here,
in
then she was
Christmas.
married
Something
here.
like
yeah,
this.
did you go to the
And so
Philadelphia?
I wasn't
visited
invited.
us. I think she stayed with us a day or two. We had taken her to Well,
She married a nice guy.
she was
Yeah.
at the
Seems to
shop,
be.
And do they have children?
and
They're just married
she was
about,
here, I think, to go
more
to
than a
university
year
for
ago.
a term.
all right,
And she
so
left. We
what do you want, a
assumed she left.
child immediately?
We didn't hear from her.
Nobody's as stupid as I was.
A couple of years later, we received an invitation. I don't know if you know it. I was telling one day a girl calls Audrey Sklar. She's the daughter of Elaine. She's
Yeah.
here in Israel.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about it?
No.
So, yes, fine. What are you doing here? I think she was going to school here at the time. And we saw a few times. We even took her to the Moshav. And after a while, she left. We didn't hear from her anymore. And well, I assume she went back to Cherry Hill, where she's from.
Yeah,
I think
Cherry
so.
Hill, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's all. A couple of years later, we get an invitation from Audrey. Well, from Elaine, I guess, and her husband's name. Their daughter, Audrey, marrying Yosef somebody or other, an Iraqi Jew, here
Oh,
in
my.
Israel. We're invited to the wedding.
And they live here now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're invited to the wedding, and it was, I don't know where they got the money. They're in the hardware store business in Cholon, south of Tel Aviv here. And there were maybe 400 people there. A lot of money. They spent a lot of money in weddings here. We and Elaine and her husband, and of course Audrey, and Audrey's brother were the only English speakers.
Oh my God.
Really?
The only English.
There was nobody to talk to. They were all,
They needed you there.
yes. Well, we
A
talked with
token.
the others.
We were the token
Elaine
white
probably
Jews.
paid for the wedding.
No.
Well, Elaine's
No?
parents,
No.
I don't know.
No, thank you. I'm not.
Elaine's parents paid for the wedding that they held in Philadelphia. Enough.
What do you mean Elaine's parents?
I'm
Elaine, not her
Elaine.
parents.
Oh, you said
Elaine.
Elaine's parents paid.
Right.
As the director,
Elaine-
No, Audrey's
Audrey's
parents.
Oh, Audrey's
Elaine.
parents.
as the director, I think we're getting off the line here.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting story about Audrey.
Right.
Um,
No, I don't know where she is now, Audrey. Again, after the
Bat
wedding,
Yam.
Nettie.
Yes,
it's
dear.
been a few years.
Then Meyer married Sylvia.
Sylvia.
And there's of course there's Arnold and there's Naomi.
That's all. Just the two
Just the
children.
two of them.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how far we need to go back to that, but into that, I mean, further generations. I mean,
No,
towards me.
I don't really
No,
know
mm,
Elaine's children. I don't.
Okay, and then, not Elaine. Oh yeah, Elaine. Back to Elaine.
It's not Elaine.
It's not Elaine.
This
no.
is not going to be easy.
It's
All
not
right.
gonna be easy.
That's it.
Go ahead, Mr. Scorsese.
Then they also had other children. They had Philip
Philip Levin, yes.
Philip Levin.
He's in the Navy.
Yes, I know he's in the Navy. He married Carmine, and they subsequently got
Did you
divorced.
study up on this?
No, I know this. I'm old. I know. And they had a child, Jonathan,
They had three children.
Scott. What's their names?
She's the same age as Andrea. I don't remember her
All
name.
the children? I don't know.
I forgot
Mine
all
Levin.
about this. You see, you're talking about forgetting.
You don't remember their kid?
I don't remember the name.
Any of their-
Catherine.
Yeah.
The daughter was
Whose
Catherine.
kind of name is Catherine?
Catherine, she's
Yeah,
named after
but-
Chayelo.
Sure.
He came to.
Vikim
Where do you come
Chayel
from?
to
Chayel to
Catherine, that's
Catherine.
the only thing they can think of is Catherine.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And then there's
Why?
two
What's
other
my
children.
And
The
then two
only
other
thing they can
sons.
think of.
You don't know their names.
Big brain like Philip.
One was-
He came
one
out.
was
One's a
Jonathan.
doctor.
Big great.
One is
it's
Jonathan
Donald
and one
Brains.
is
They-
Scott.
they-
No,
they
those are
were
Mark's
called
kids.
Chayil, were they?
No.
See, now you're getting into
No.
mess. Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, then there's Mark. And
And
Mark
there's
was married, I forget her name. And he's divorced.
Edith. Edith, and then he divorced Edith and married somebody else.
And his children were Scott.
No,
No.
he had a child that was retarded.
I
He had
know,
a, there
I
he goes
know.
again with the
Badly
retarded children.
retarded.
I understand.
There we go again. with
But his name, I thought, was
retardation.
Scott. No. But he had
His name was Adam.
Adam.
He just
Adam.
came to
Adam.
Yeah, Adam.
And they had another boy. He has another boy.
No.
He had
No.
two more children.
from the
No,
first?
No, he only had one child.
No, Moshe Levin only had one child.
We're going to be clearer on Sam's side. Okay, and that's Chaedel and Nuchem's kids and their kids,
No.
correct? Then there's Fradel. Now this part of the family throws me a little bit.
From
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
She
he
married
does.
Muttel.
she married Muttel.
I remember Muttel Block. Muttel was married before,
Muttel was married before to Sarah. Her name
and
was Sarah.
one of their kids was Seely and Reba.
No.
Pessy.
I think he's delivered.
Hessie and Lily.
Pessy
The
and
creator.
Lily.
No. Muttel's from his previous marriage.
Had Adele, had Hudi.
Oh, Adele. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Adele.
Adele. Adele, who married Max,
She's
and I know
dead.
their kids.
Yes.
Max is still alive?
No.
Max.
Adele is
Adele's
Dead.
dead, yeah.
Adele died recently. Okay, maybe
And Max?
Max died way before.
Did she die in the home yet? She never did come back.
Max
to the
died
house.
before Adele?
She died in a home, I
In the
think.
Pardon?
Max died
Yeah.
first?
yeah.
Yes.
So, now,
And they
Yes.
they had, wait,
one was a lawyer I know.
who? Adele and
Adele?
Max's kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them. Their names are, the oldest one is he's a teacher, a gymnastics teacher.
In Southern.
Oh my
Norman.
God. Norman's the youngest.
No, Sheldon.
Sheldon, Barry, and Norman.
Yes.
Three boys. And they'd come over and steal our comic books.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
And what did they do?
They would steal Philip and mine's comic books. We'd hide them, and they'd run all over the house looking for them. And we'd find them downstairs on their way out. They would just take them on the way out. Yeah, they were mumsers. Anyway,
Before Liz Mom said it.
now, but Muttel and Fradel
And Fradel had two daughters.
Lily and Pessy. And they, Lily
like a
married Max.
No.
Lily married
Lenny.
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 Glickman.
Lenny Glickman. Big guy in Allentown. He looked to me like a big
They're
guy.
so big.
No,
And-
he's short,
He's short,
but
he's
stocky.
And Pessy married
Lou Illian.
Illians, and they moved to New York, I believe.
Now she lives in Connecticut.
They lived in New York all their lives.
You know a lot of
since
his
they
family,
were married.
Matilda. You know a lot of his family. You've been around a long time. Then, that's it for that side. But they're all interrelated because they were cousins. Now, excuse me,
You name it.
Yes.
Here I am.
Dr. Gorsky.
Oui, monsieur.
David. Now on the other side, where were we? On the other side, Sam's father was also Muttel.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
he was
yeah.
We
Zeta
call
Muttel.
Max.
Zeta Muttel.
Call him Max.
And
Mordechai,
what was your grandmother's name?
Bathsheba.
Bathsheba.
Okay,
She was the
Bathsheba.
wife of King David.
right. But she's famous.
And they gave birth to Solomon.
But this Bathsheba gave birth to Sam and a bunch of brothers and sisters. Could you be so kind to tell me who they are? Because
Robert
within
De
5
Niro,
years,
all I can do is-
within 5 years, I'm going to forget some of these people.
But you should write it down.
Well, this is easier.
Sam was the oldest, Schlamer.
At some point, we'll have to stop and change batteries. I'm sorry.
And
Sam was the oldest. Then there's
he had a
Mani.
brother, Moshe.
No, Mani was next to Sam.
Yeah, but he said brothers, huh?
No.
All right, the next one
The
after
order is
that
not
was
important.
Mani, whose name
Polonsky.
really was Mechli. And the grandfather of hers said, Mechli, for a sweet little girl like you, it's not feminine enough. We'll call you Mani. Mani was more feminine, but her name was
Right.
actually Mechli, she said.
Now, oddly enough, Mani married Mani. Polonsky.
Well, as
Emmanuel.
it's pronounced. Mani, Uncle Mani's name was that he was Emmanuel.
Oh.
So you call him Mani.
Oh, man.
And her name was Manya,
Oh,
which is a.
I thought they were both
girl-
Mani.
No,
Well,
no,
they were
no.
the
His name was
sloppy
Emmanuel.
pronunciation.
And who are their children? The two Manis.
David Polonsky.
Polonsky.
Okay.
And another one,
Mental.
Irving.
He's on camera.
Irving.
Who is?
Does Dave
David.
know? Dave, do you know your own camera?
Yeah, it's a candid camera.
It's not very candid.
Do you still have it?
No.
Rewrite.
Alan Funt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alan.
I never
Is he
liked
part of the family too?
Could be.
Okay.
Did you say 6 level? 6?
6 degrees of
6
separation.
Somebody we know must know out of fun.
Anyway,
So, the next one.
Wait,
what-
Robert and Irving. You know their kids?
What,
Do you know?
Robert? David, I said.
David Polonsky.
Monty's 2
Yeah.
sons were David and
And
Oh,
Irving.
but I'm sorry, but I need to know their children because I think I know them.
Okay.
Sherwin.
David Polonsky, Sherwin. Go on.
Sherwin
And Drina.
and Drina.
The daughter.
Drina, what a name.
And
She's named after a David.
and I don't think we need to
And
go into their
Sherwin is
film.
not married. He's a podiatrist and he lives in
Seattle, someplace,
Ontario.
someplace
No.
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
northwest.
Drina lives near Lenny.
Oh, really? In
That's
California?
Yeah, Drina lives near. She's married, and I
The
don't
second
know
time.
her children. Second time, but I don't know her.
She
children.
had one son.
Okay.
She had just one son, and David does not know where he is.
What about after Monty? Who's next?
Hussey.
Hesse.
Pessy married Morris.
That's right.
Yeah, Morris
Morris
Brody.
Brody, because they came to visit us several times.
Yes, they
Yes,
did.
yes.
And tell me about their children.
Diane.
Diane. Okay.
Diane is Pessy's daughter.
Yeah.
And what's the boy's name? Seymour. Seymour.
Seymour Brody.
Seymour Brody.
They're
Is
married
that
and have.
Diane Tiger?
No.
Diane
That's
Brody.
Tyke.
Oh.
So that's
Ida Tiger.
that's a whole different story too.
One
Those
sister of my father.
after
Pessy is Moshe.
Moshe.
Moshe
Okay.
Gorsky.
Moshe
And he was a
Gorsky.
ladies' man. He
Uh-huh.
was. He was a very big guy. He was
he marry
married,
Zelda?
His wife, that's
Yeah.
right. But Zelda died some years ago, and he married another woman, a wealthy woman, but there were no children.
He was kind of a big, good-looking guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was at the house.
And
Yeah.
he came to Israel at
Oh.
the age of 90 with his girlfriend.
Oh my.
And Moshe had
Is
2
Sam's
children.
brother?
Hmm.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Uh,
these are all Sam's sibs.
They had 2 children. One is Harry Gorsky, he's a Gorsky, and the other
It's
is
Paula Greenwald.
Paula Greenwald.
Pola, P-O-L-A.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
And she married Gil, who's a
That's
zoologist
right.
and
You're-
a scientist
you're-
who's a nice guy, and I
Right.
remember them.
They had lived in Baltimore for a little while.
We
you
visited.
mentioned.
Yeah, he went to
Baltimore.
And
What if-
incidentally, as an aside, well, it's not an aside because you probably don't know it. No, you do know it. Paula, the daughter of Moshe, had been to Philadelphia. And she and Philip,
Moshe.
no, she and Philip, your Philip,
Oh, my Philip.
were going together like for a
No.
couple of 7 days or whatnot.
Really?
Oh,
think
no,
it was
that was
Mark.
Morris.
Morris.
It was
Moshe
Mark.
was Morris.
You're right,
It was
you're right.
Moshe.
I'm off.
She was very much in love with Moshe. He took her out about
Mark.
3. Yeah, Mark, yeah.
Mark.
Took her out about 3-4 times, and he dropped her.
Well,
Mark
she went
Levin?
back.
Mark?
Yeah.
That Mark?
Mark.
Yeah.
I like
Levin,
Mark
yeah.
Levin. I know.
Okay, so.
I like
Well,
after-
Harry. Did Harry get married? And does he have?
Oh,
a-
Harry's
Harry's
married.
married. Yeah. What's her name?
Florine.
Florine.
Florine. Yes.
Yeah, what a name.
Like-
Fluorine, like when you put it in the
Fluorine.
water.
Yes.
Oh, fluoride.
And they
Fluorine.
have 3 girls. They're all educated girls. They're all living like in Vermont and Maine, from California. And they're not, one of them is Jewish. And Harry once said, "You think, Dave, that I'm offended by it. I tell you, it doesn't bother me at all." I said, okay. All his children were married non-Jews. Next.
Next.
is Esther.
Esther.
Oh, Esther.
Esther and
No.
Shaike were twins.
Well, where's
Esther-
Shaika? Oh, he's next. Okay. There's a lot of them.
No, Shaika never made it to America.
Well,
Oh,
He
came for a
remained
visit.
in Russia.
What-
He became one of the heroes of the.
he's an interesting character. He was an interesting character. And he had children, of course.
He had one
He
son,
has one son.
Yehoshua.
Yeah, well, his name is Yeshayahu, I guess, named
Yeshayahu.
after great grandfather Yeshua.
And he
Ah.
was married to a Mani also.
Yeah, his wife.
Oh,
His wife's
Shaika.
name was Mani.
And Shaika was the rebellion. He's the one that everybody left came to America except Shaika. And he was a teenager.
He was
yes.
a very young boy.
He was a teenager.
He was a
He
bit
was
of a
in
roughneck.
He didn't leave because of a woman, a girl, or something.
Well, he had a girlfriend.
Manya, and he was also very rebellious, and he was also he was after the some of the pogromchiks.
Yeah.
Legend has it that he killed one of them, who killed an uncle of his.
Really?
Legend. He pursued him and killed him.
A roughneck.
Who?
Esther. We skipped over Esther's brief. Esther is
Well,
the twin.
Esther
Shaika's twin.
Ruttenberg.
Esther Ruttenberg.
Esther Ruttenberg.
And who?
He
She
married
had
Nathan.
nice
Nathan Ruttenberg.
children.
They had 3 children. Of all the Californians, actually just about of all of the aunts and uncles, I think that Esther, in a manner of speaking, was the most successful of all. They weren't very rich, but some of the Californians, like Harry's children, married. Esther had 2 boys, Philip, and
Robert.
Philip is the legend of the family. There are a lot of Philips.
Yes,
Right.
I see.
Philip is an accountant, and Robert, who's an engineer.
We met Robert. He came to visit us one time. He was
Yeah.
stationed at
He came
Fort
here
Dix.
Twice.
Fort
Yes.
Dix. He came to
And-
Israel?
Yes, twice.
Oh my God, you
And
got a lot of
these-
visitors here.
Yes, we did.
And these
Wow.
boys married nice Jewish girls. Their children were Jewish. Their children's children married Jews. In that sense, that there was no tension in the family, such as there are among just about all of them. Just about all of them. Either married goyim or going with goyim. And they have a girl whose name is Kay
Kay
Adele.
Adele.
She married a nice Jewish boy.
An engineer also.
So I think she was the most successful in that sense.
Wait, Kay Adele was a sister?
Yeah, Kay.
Oh, so there's two.
Her sister
brothers and a
obviously-
sister.
Oh, I see. Okay.
What you gonna do with all this?
Oh.
And are you gonna sell it? Like Maya Levin writing a story?
No,
Well,
this
this
is
is-
for obviously. You know what I'm doing this for.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
his children.
Then after Esther, there's
After Esther and Shaika, there's Shaika.
Heike, Ida.
Ida Tiger.
She married Jack.
Jack Tiger, yes.
Yeah.
Which was a rabbi.
He wasn't a rabbi.
He wasn't.
I tell
He
everybody
called
he's a
himself
rabbi.
a reverend.
A reverend.
The
It's
re-
not the same thing.
The son of a shotgun.
What? Who were their kids then?
Jerry Tiger.
Jerry
That's a
Tiger.
very sick boy.
That's
and,
she says that's a very.
And
Who
Beverly. And Beverly.
is Jerry married with children?
Jerry was married once before. He married a shiksa.
Yeah.
And he divorced, and they had 3 children. He has a son of Philip.
That's it.
Yes. And then he divorced her, and he married this other woman, which her name was Terry,
A cripple.
a cripple.
And where did Jerry live and his children? New Orleans,
New
man.
Orleans, yes,
New
I know.
Orleans, of
Yeah.
all
It's
things.
very funny.
It's the only ones that I know
providing
of the
comic
family
relief
who are in the South.
It's coming over here. I know. I know that. He used to call you the vice of mama.
Jerry used to call me the vice of mama, yeah.
And who and I'm sorry,
And
the other
Beverly.
Beverly. She's married.
She's married to
To
a
a
guy,
guy.
and I don't know
I know the name,
what is the name.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
with TS.
but you'll
She's-
you'll have to pay me because you would never guess me.
I'll give you a shekel.
Wozniak, how do you like
Wozniak.
that?
Oh my
And you
God.
know why you know the name?
Because he visited here too.
No,
Is
no.
that
For
true?
one thing, he was not Jewish, but if you were a computer man, you would know Wozniak. Wozniak, it's not this one, but I
There is a-
understand it maybe in
The one who went with Apple guy.
Right.
Apple
Right.
computer.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Yeah.
Does this
But-
mean money for anybody? Or-
But
no?
It's
no,
not the
no,
same
but
one.
Wozniak, I don't know what he does,
Oh.
but it's in the family.
He's probably a street cleaner.
So
That's
Ida
enough.
tells me.
That's enough, Artie.
Why?
That's enough.
Stop in the
That's
middle?
enough taking my picture. You've been.
No.
you
Who
had
else?
that thing
Whose
pointing at me
picture
all
am I
this
going to
time.
take? I'm taking you and David. What do you want from me?
There's blood.
Take Matilda too.
I did.
I'm not taking
All right.
trouble
Now
into
listen to
this.
me.
She's
listen
not
to me.
family.
Heike
Yes,
is
she is.
Heike here in this date today
She
is,
doesn't wanna
is
be in
alive.
that lousy
Yes,
family.
Yes, I
And-
just
and
don't
well.
know.
With all the
She's about
retarded
87.
cripples.
But she is the only one of your aunts and uncles who's
The
alive.
only-
The
last
only
of-
one from both
the
sides.
only one. That's the end
From
of
both.
the
The end of that generation. All right, David.
Yes, sir.
David, go further back now. Back to
Probe.
go back in your mind. I mean,
That sounds to me.
Good.
I think
retreat.
the psychiatrist
Retreat to your darkest memories
the deepest recesses
and
of your
and
mind.
tell me, if you can, who your Zayda Muttal's parents were, and your Softa Pesi's mother or parents.
Well, wait a minute, excuse me. Pessy was not Zayda Muttal's wife. Pessy was father's
Did I say
wife.
Muttal?
No,
No,
Shiva and
No,
Muttal.
he wanted to know
The Shiva. I'm sorry. You're
Well,
right.
Shiva and Muttal.
Wait a minute. Zayda Muttal,
Yes.
Right.
his-
also known as the Shia Zayda to some.
Yeah,
He
she's-
married
But Shiva,
the Shiva. Okay, so I need to know their parents.
her parents.
Both sets.
Muttal's father's name was Yeshayahu.
See, he
Yeshia.
knows. Do you know that, Nati?
I think so.
Of
I'm
course
not
you
sure.
do.
No, but he knows better.
This is now you're talking about your
Great
Great-
great parents.
grandparents, yes.
My great.
Right. Yeshayahu was alive even after we were born. And he lived with us in Alexandrovka.
Really?
Lived with us.
He didn't marry Mima Rezi, did he?
No.
That was his sister.
Somewhere here there's going to be a Mima Rezi.
And Yeshayahu's wife's name was Esther Polansky.
Oh, that's where you
That's
met.
the famous Polanskis. This is where
I
the
see.
Polanskis and the Piatigorskys
The
merged.
diamonds.
The
The what?
merged.
The diamonds.
Oh.
The
Okay.
88 million.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
And
I
Shia
only want 10.
Oh, here we go.
Ishia and Mrs.
now
Polansky.
Esther Polansky had 10
Oh my God.
10 brothers. 10 brothers. Can you imagine the geometric progression? There must be 6 million Polanskis, and there are. I forgot the author's name. It's an aside. He is one of the best authors, maybe the best authors, of the life of Jews in America
Uh-huh.
in the 20th century. And I read it. I forgot his name. I forgot that it was a trilogy. Many of them settled in Boston and then
Is that the Grandees? He wrote the. I think I know that book.
maybe you do. In any case, as I recall, it appeared that this may very well have been some of our Polanskis. Some of the things that he... Anyway, so...
But they had, besides your grandfather Muttal, they had other children. Do you
Yes.
know? Do you know any of them? I mean,
Mimirezo.
oh.
Is
That came
See?
up. You wanted the
Mimirezo
name.
is
Well, she
the-
really wasn't your Mima. She was Sam's Mima.
She was Sam's Mima, yeah,
Yeah.
but we called her Mima also.
Okay.
Well, she was a
And,
sister.
and,
Muttal.
and,
Muscle's sister. And who else did he? Who was it?
and
Favel.
Favel, Zayda Favel was his brother.
Oh my God.
Nine,
It's almost incestuous, isn't it?
Oh my God. That's the
Zayda-
Zayda
and
father.
then there was another sister, Heike was her name, Mima Heike. There was another Mima Heike. She was single girl. She never married. I
Yes, you
don't-
did.
She did marry?
When this fellow,
Matilda
Rachel,
are like the
uh,
bad kids in the
well, I
class.
told you, somebody rang the bell and said he's
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
He had a picture. He asked his mother if she sent a picture. And he says, do you know what that is? And I see an old woman there. He says, and with a man, I said, that's Mimi Heike. My mother wants to know, do you know Mimi Heike? Yes, I remember Heike. I said, that's not her. Yes, it is. But you know, we knew her 210 years ago. So she had married.
Didn't she have a pimple
I
right
said she
here?
had, it was Mimi
I
Heike with
remember
the
that,
pimple.
as little
But
as
she
I
had
was.
removed that years ago.
How many
She-
brothers and sisters did your grandfather have?
Zayda Mata?
Yeah.
Well, he had five.
He had another brother, and therein lies tragedy, and we're back to the circle. Another
Not a
brother.
Polunsky.
Huh?
No,
No,
never mind.
Gorsky, Piatigorsky.
It was a Piatigorsky, Moshe, again, who is named after an ancestor, and if we have another week or so, I can complete the story. who was the father of Leonard Piatigorsky. You see how
Okay.
how it all matches
Oh,
in?
yeah, that's right. I forgot
Okay.
about
You mean
Moshe.
of the
Excellent.
famous physicist? Really?
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's right.
That's
So then you really are related.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my grandfather said the cellist Piatigorsky.
Yes.
The cellist, yeah, he's related. I know nothing about it. But Leonard Piatigorsky, even I remember Leonard.
Yeah, and I saw a textbook by
I need,
written by him,
yeah,
co-authored by
by,
him.
Well, we
and with Landau.
Right. What, Bear? Are you making comments out of line?
No.
Well, so Maisha, Matel, Favel, Rezi,
And Heike.
and Heike.
There may have been other, yes, he had another sister whose name was Surke.
Oh.
Years and years later, Muttel from America had gotten Surke out of Russia, and she came to California. She was a young girl, but some old fart here married her, an American, a foreign born. And they had a child, and it was a very sad story. Heike and Esther went to visit her one time. She was a very sad woman. Either she committed suicide or she died at a fairly young age.
Circa did?
A daughter of Circa,
Oh.
and I don't remember.
You know, somehow that rings a bell. I must have heard that story before.
Yes, it was a great
You know, I must have
scandal
heard
of the
that.
family. Not a scandal.
Nettie might?
She was kind of mysterious, and she wouldn't allow anybody near her, mostly. And wouldn't talk to Esther or Heike. Alice is fine, Alice is fine. She didn't live long after she came to her. What happened there, nobody knows really what happened.
Nettie?
Yes.
Maisha had kids of which Leonid, or Leonie as you used to call him, was
Leonie.
one. Leonie. And he's the one who had
One arm.
one of the pogroms had his arm shot off apparently.
Yeah, that's right. When he
Yeah,
was
well,
a
that's the
little boy.
physicist.
That's
Yes.
the physicist. Are there any other children of that?
Yes, and there was another one. Her name was what?
Celia.
Celia.
Celia. Yes, Celia.
Oh,
And therein lies a tragedy, too.
really?
Yeah,
Was she
definitely.
raped, Celia, or did she jump
There
off the
are
train?
two versions. One is after Hitler invaded part of Russia, she was on a train going. I don't know where she lived at the time, but she had been on a train. Germans were already in Russia. They didn't kill all the Russians, not right away. And on the train, some German soldiers came on. They saw Celia. Celia was a very, very pretty girl. I remember her
But she
vaguely.
was not normal, though.
Well,
like
that's
said.
another story.
Yeah.
And they saw her, and they began to molest her. So she went to the between the two cars. There's a door. She opened the door. She managed to open the door, and she threw herself out the door, and was
She
killed.
got killed.
The other version, mysteries to the family, was that no, she wasn't raped. She was on a train, but she at that time perhaps lived in Moscow. Her husband was in Moscow, and she never married. And she decided one day she wants to go back to Alexandrovka. And that was the town where they lived and where her parents were killed in the presence of the two children, very young at the time. And Leonard said, well, why? Well, what are you going to do in there? The town hardly exists anymore. She wants to go back to see it. She did. She became ill mentally, maybe emotionally, and she was in a hospital and she died.
Which is the true story?
I don't know. We heard it, I guess, from different sources. One, from this fellow, Rodalis. He is one of the Polanskis, and he's in Israel now, and he knew the story. The other was from Shaika.
Shaika told us
Well, what did he? Which story did he?
that she jumped out of the train. She was raped in the train, and she jumped out of the
Well,
train.
but you said she was sick, she was crazy. or-
She was emotionally
At that
crazy.
time?
At that
What was
time,
it?
yes.
Sounds like it's a combination of the two stories.
Yes, I guess so.
This is Leonid's sister.
Leonie's sister, Celie. Her name is Celie.
Hmm.
And Leonard, mid, was married 3, maybe 4 times.
6 times.
6 times. That was
That's
Jacques Gabor.
That was
We've come full circle.
He was as the most rotten father and husband you'd have. He was a philanderer,
The physicist?
Leonard?
the
The
physicist.
physicist? That's just
He
what I'm
had-
glad you asked that. Because
He had children all over the place. He didn't care about them. He did nothing about. He didn't even know about them. He would leave this woman or divorce her. Divorce was easy in those days, and children mattered not to him at all. That was the story that I got.
Did
What can I do?
besides Moshe and Rezi and Favel and Matel
And Surka.
and Surka, were there any others?
If there are, maybe my chart shows it, but I don't recall any other. I think that was all.
It's not as far as I know. They're
Now,
all done.
before we start on more, because I'm going to take it back, I'm going to pause right
If we
now.
say through the name.
No, we're not going to
Station
say. I'm going. Yeah,
identification.
Yeah.
now time for an intermission break. Hold up like a T, Nancy.
you know, Matilda.
I've seen
Oh,
Now,
bifurcation.
Yeah.
now your grandmother.
Which
Do you
one?
know anything about her family? Well, Zayda Matel's wife,
Bathsheba.
Bathsheba.
I don't know about Bathsheba. I know she had a sister. That's all I know.
Bathsheba came from a family, their name was Brahinsky.
Prahinsky. Yeah, that's
Brahinsky
right.
was her maiden
Was-
name.
Yes.
Her maiden name? Yes, if you ask me.
Yeah,
You said, do you know her maiden name? I said, yes, and then I'm
Brahinsky.
silent. You didn't
Brahinsky.
say you wanted me to tell you.
Well, I know already. It's Brahinsky.
Mrs. Schwarzer.
Brahinsky's, or my
Yeah.
grandmother's
Oh,
mother
no.
was a Brahinsky, and her name was Sima Ruchel.
Simerochel, yes.
Sima Ruchel. Get that.
I got it down. It's
And how old was she when she died?
And Sema Ruchel was 300 years and 10 years. That's how the Bible. And he was 700 years old and 90 years old. And this, instead of one time, she was 106. She,
Simirochel.
she
Wait,
and
she's Bathsheba's.
Bathsheba's sister.
Bathsheba's mother.
Bathsheba's mother, I'm sorry. Bathsheba's
Oh, we're
mother.
really going back.
Uh,
This is
Bathsheba, I know.
your great grandmother.
Yes.
Yes.
Bathsheba's, I don't know about a sister. Again, maybe it's written down. But she had a brother, Aaron, who died at an early age from what? Philip. He had the same kind of illness, a tumor in the brain.
No kidding.
How do you like that? How do you
What
like
was
I
his
didn't know
name?
that.
Well, Pop said so.
His name was Aaron.
Aaron. But
Aaron.
he was fairly young.
Good.
Ergo, we have no Aarons in the family because you don't name a child after
A
someone
child.
who's died at an early age.
It's
But
bad
his
luck.
name was Aaron.
except you do.
Huh?
Except we did.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sure.
So did
It's
Nancy.
not, yeah.
Uh,
No, it's
I guess maybe you can,
Exceptions to
if you were to say Philip Chaim. Chaim is life.
No.
So on the one hand, you name it after, but Chaim, you say life.
Give him
Or,
life.
as
Right.
would say in Yiddish, alter. Alter means old one.
Yes.
So, all right, Fabel, an alter Fabel.
Yes.
The my mother's father was Fabel. Was Fabel, who also died at a young age. But he died during the typhus period in Russia. There's so many died. No sanitation, a lack of food and whatnot. He
thought he
also
had
had a hernia
a hernia, I was
that
gonna say.
strangled him to death. Between the two, he was maybe in his 50s.
Who are we talking about? Whom are we
Fabel.
speaking?
Zeta Fabel.
We trace back.
Oh, we're back to Zeta Fabel. Well,
Mother's
what about this? The one who lived to
Simon
106, Simon Ruchel.
Is Baba Basheva's mother.
Baba Basheva's, yeah,
Mottl's
yeah.
mother-in-law.
Do you know
was.
who the husband was? Who did she marry?
Her husband's name was David. And my father, when he would get mad at me, he said, "You're just as stubborn as Zeta Duvet, who was known to be an ox." He wouldn't change his mind at nothing. He was a nasty man. My father knows because in the village where we lived, there were not enough Jews to support a malamet, a man. They were not rabbis to teach the boys how to pray and whatnot. And so his parents, Matl Bashiva, sent my father, Shlomo, to the little town where David and Simarucha lived, because it's a bigger town. And so he lived with them. He couldn't take a subway between town.
No.
He would come home for Pesach, you know. He lived there and went to Cheder there, into school.
These
No.
were his,
Now,
not
this Simeruchel was my father's grandmother.
That's right.
Simeruchel was
yeah.
Pop's grandmother.
Yeah.
And he lived with them
Are
while
you
he was in
confused
Cheder.
by now?
No, I'm okay. But let's see. I'm trying. Yeah, I'm a little confused. Zayda Muttal. You're Zayda Muttal.
Yes.
Did we talk about his parents?
Yes, I said Yeshua was his father.
Yeah.
I mentioned it. And Esther,
Oh yeah, she and Esther.
by the
Okay.
way, Esther died as a young woman.
Oh really?
Yes.
She gave birth to all those.
She gave
kids?
birth, no, she had 10 brothers and one girl. She was the only girl. However, so Yeshua married a second time after his wife Esther died. When we came to America, and they were divorced. When we
The
came
second
to
time they were
America,
divorced?
Huh?
The second time?
yes,
They got to get.
yes, that's right. When we came to America, there's a woman whose name was Buncy,
Buncy, yes.
and she was the daughter of my great-grandfather's second wife.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Ze geknipt en
Confused?
She
Confused?
lived in South Philadelphia.
Yes, on 6th
She
Street.
lived, and my brother
That's right.
bought her house.
That's right.
That's right, that was Buncy.
Yeah. No. Well, you got to finish.
This is good because the kids can watch this and they can get good names for their children.
Buncy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Natty. Or
Many good names.
you
Many.
know,
Started like
she is.
that.
She is. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
His parents.
Pardon?
His parents.
Yes.
Misha. There's a Misha back there somewhere.
I mentioned at least 7 Mishas.
Well, who's his?
Misha was the father.
Of Leonik.
No.
No, I know
Yes,
that.
that's
Yeah, I know
true.
that. But
And
we're going back.
And
Oh, man,
Sam's
I'm lost.
brother was Misha. But Misha also was the father of Esther. You see?
Okay.
Esther
Yeah.
Piatigorsky, who became Esther Piatigorsky.
Okay.
I
Misha
told
was
you he
was
knows better
but
than
on
I
the
do.
and how about Ashia's father?
Is she his father?
His
Are
name?
you ready?
Yes.
Philip.
Oh my gosh.
Another
Is Zayda
Philip.
Favel named after him?
Yes. Therefore, that Philip died pretty young, didn't he? He died before Zedefava was born. You must have, right?
Yeah.
That was he was named after his father.
Yeah, but
That's
no,
right.
not father, grandfather.
Now I'm
No,
upset
father.
because we named Philip, and you're not supposed to do that. And I remember my mother saying that we should give him a middle name.
I see.
From
Well, he
someone-
has a middle name. It's
I know.
Shraga.
No,
Shraga.
Fraga is the Hebrew for Philip. Philip
So does
is
he
a
have? He
Greek
should have a
name.
middle name of someone that lived a long time.
I said, some will
But he
say
doesn't.
Favel Alter, the old one, or Favel Chaim, which
If
means
you're
life.
superstitious.
Yeah, but we didn't do that.
But you're
So
not
I'm
David.
superstitious.
Zayda Favel's grandfather was Favel, was Philip.
Yes.
Yeah, Ashia's father.
That's right.
And he was Philip. Okay. And well, Philip must have had a wife.
Philip's wife.
The mother.
Philip's wife was.
I forget.
Can it be that you got me without my reference notes?
I want to know.
You mean not
Not Zeta
my
father.
not Zeta
No,
father.
no.
The
His
Shia's
grandfather.
father, right.
Shia's father. Zeta Favel's grandmother.
I have it written down. I'm quite sure, but I can't remember.
And Esther's father was a Moshe.
Esther's father was Moshe, and the wife of that Moshe, I don't remember either. I think there are 8 generations which I got, but
That's a
some
long
of the
way.
ages I had to estimate. I think I gave 25 years to a generation.
Yeah, for instance, when was when was Zeta Favel's grandfather Favel? When would he have been born? I mean, we're talking.
Well, that I think
Or
I
Moshe.
began to estimate at that time. My Favel, Zeta Favel, died I think in 1921.
He was in
And
his 50s.
huh?
He was in his
When
I
was he
think
born?
so. Well, from Pop or Mom, I got how old he was when he died, so I moved that back to his date of birth. And therefore, Ishias, his fathers, I could estimate from there on.
Yeah.
And I did that with all of them. 25 years I allotted for a generation.
Yeah.
And I think that I got down to about maybe 18, 20 or 30.
That's a long. That's probably as far back as you can go.
Who?
Anyone. I mean.
Well, anyone.
No, I mean,
Do
with
you know that
considering
Kennedy, was it Kennedy or somebody says he's descended from Julius Caesar? Could be.
well, you have to be able to trace last
Yes,
names.
yes.
But what about? I'm afraid to ask, but do you know either Favel's parents or Esther's parents or Moshe's parents?
Esther's father was Moshe.
Oh, well, Moshe's parents then.
I think not, if you count back of that generation. But again, I'll have to refer to
How
my
about
notes.
Favel's, Philip's parents?
Which Philip? A lot of Philips.
You know, the
Zeta
first
Phil.
Philip.
The
Oh,
first Philip, his
father
parents,
was his-
I think not. I think that I
Talking
stopped at
about
Philip.
your Zeta Favel's grandfather.
Oh,
David.
grandfather.
Waffle.
Are your notes inaccessible?
No, inaccessible. I mean, I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you.
I'd like a
Maybe
copy.
during your absence, maybe I'll give you a copy.
Because that's far, I mean, we're about, and actually when you trace my grandmother back, we're hitting into the same family tree.
Yeah, sure.
So that's,
If I don't,
right.
I may have to Xerox a copy. It's a big one. I cut it in sections because there was, when I let it be known that I had it, I received, they queued up to buy copies. So,
But of course.
so I sent one to Lenny, I know, and one to
And charged $150.
and one
per
to
copy.
Billy. And the reply was, he showed it to Toonie, and Toonie said, I made a few errors. He may very well be right, but he didn't say what the errors were. I have some. I have one or two, which I must say for Paul and Shy. And if that is the case, I'll Xerox a copy
yeah,
and
make me
I'll
a
send it to
copy.
you.
Make me a copy. I would like to, as a supplement, you know, when you see a movie, sometimes there's a book with it.
And we'll make a copy of this and we'll give it to Paul.
You mean a prettier copy than the copy that I have?
Copy
no,
of
no,
this
no,
video.
Of this
Oh,
film.
Oh, this.
Yes,
this is,
yes.
I didn't know what you were playing.
Yes, so that's
Yeah.
what I meant.
Is there, before we bring this to a fini, is there any other thing you want to add? Have we forgotten anyone? I mean, we didn't talk about, actually, because obviously I know this generation, my cousins.
Do you?
Do I?
Do you know them all?
Yes. Well, I know her brother's children,
Incidentally, when
right? I mean, those are my first cousins
when I
on this
began
side.
to prepare this family tree, I certainly had to include the Gorskys, and there was Gorsky, and her brothers, and her father, mother, and I
Period.
finished.
Finished.
Oh, really?
Not one of them knows beyond that. Not.
Really?
They have no They were
We
immaculate
have no
conceptions.
past.
They had no Bubba, no Zeta, no uncles, no aunts, no cousins, nothing.
They just came. They just came.
I
Like
started
top
this.
secret.
In 1907 is when they came, when her father came to America.
Well,
He married a Tchatzkala Esther, and they
Who had no
four-
wrinkles.
They had 4 boys and a girl, and I was stuck. That's all there is.
well, that's
And I
like
think I mentioned the other day, Maya said, asked me, what was my mother's maiden name? I know it. Not one of them knows it.
Oh my!
I don't know
goodness.
why. She told me. I asked her once. It's
you
it's
I
gone.
remember.
You know, it's like
You know,
my.
when we went
It's like
for
with
our
Al.
marriage
Al's.
license, they said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "David Gorsky." "What is your name?" "Matilda Gorsky." "What was your mother's maiden name?" Yetta Gorsky. And the man looked at me and he said, "And what was your mother's maiden name?" I don't know.
Trumbubbly.
You don't know.
I don't know. He
Trumbubbly.
knew.
I don't remember such a name as that.
Wow.
From what?
He insists that she
Trumbubbly.
wasn't
Trumbubbly.
Jewish. He insists that my mother was not Jewish.
She
It's a
did,
very
she did have nice
typically
skin, I remember.
Russian
She
peasant's
had
name.
nice skin. Whether she was Jewish or
Meredith
not,
and
that's
Stephanie say
unimportant.
that Al was not Jewish. They
Oh.
insist that
Why?
Al. Why, Arthur?
Because
I mean,
Because he had blue eyes and he didn't look Jewish, and they say that he
blue
wasn't
eyes.
Jewish.
well, Al,
Maybe.
when you talk, you know, and
Al didn't
I
know
can-
a thing about his
He
family.
No, I
knows.
mean, when you talk about his family tree, it's the same
Same-
thing as
same
his,
thing.
his
It's
mother,
the
his
same
father
thing.
who died.
The girls question.
Did he know his father's name?
No.
Mendel.
Mendel. Oh, that's who Mendy's named
It's,
after.
it was not uncommon because a lot of these
Oh, so his
people.
father was Jewish then.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So even if they remembered, the old ones were left in Europe and they.
It's probably the exception
Maybe
to know as far,
Al's
to be able to
father-
trace back,
Maybe
you know,
Al's
150
father
years
was
or whatever
a
we're talking
non-Jew.
about. Back to Favel.
It's.
On my
it's
shift.
not- I'm sure that many
His
can
father,
do
you
it.
say, was
Certainly,
Jewish.
many
Yeah,
can
was
do
his
it.
mother Jewish?
By the way, you
But
said,
his
did
mother
Favel have a wife?
maybe
The first
was
Favel?
not Jewish.
I mean, I know he had a wife, but do you know her
I
name?
don't know.
You don't know her
I didn't
name?
know her maiden name.
No.
Or do you know Maisha's?
Oh, yeah, she
Did
was.
she
Wife's
speak
name?
Yiddish?
His wife's
Oh,
name,
all
and
the
that's where
time.
I
She
got
didn't speak
stuck.
English at all.
I
She
can't
didn't speak
remember
Yeah.
offhand.
Yeah.
Russian. She
What,
didn't speak
Well,
Oh,
Dave
mostly.
spread the rumor that my mother wasn't Jewish.
I didn't spread it over. She spoke Yiddish.
She could have picked it up along the way.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
She was a Bren, like Matilda.
Okay, Barry, now your family
No,
tree.
no.
No,
Arthur,
don't
we have
do
to
that.
go pack.
What time
I
is it?
don't want to. I hate this camera. Don't you hate this camera?
I do.
I was not
Yes.
even aware. I didn't know he was colored. You know, I like that when they say they're so liberal that
Oh.
I don't even know he's
Oh, I
colored.
never-
Like he's colorblind.
Right.
And if you know he's colored, doesn't mean you're anti-black. I
Right.
didn't. It sounds so phony. to
Marty,
me,
will you
doesn't
take
it?
that off my face already?
Okay, well, Nettie, this is your family,
You
and
wanted
this
to be
is
a
my.
model, so you're
Yeah.
being photographed.
Yes,
I really
I'm
just
gonna.
like
I'll
that.
sign off now. This is they're educational. I'll put it in a vault and give it a copy to Paul and whoever else
What
wants
did he
it.
put in the vault before we left?
All kinds of stuff.
In the safe?
In the safe, yes.
Here,
Something
Jewelry.
and
silly.
here we are in the Tanya,
Yeah. well,
September the
it's-
27th,
Something silly. It
a
was-
little after 10
Oh, the
p.m.,
tickets, symphony.
1994, and we're signing off. Bye, everybody.
We have.